So now I try the English version of the stream I did earlier on in German. Why in English? Well, when I am on the internet and on YouTube, I'm constantly in American or British streams, and I even have appearances on them. Well, my English is very poor, and I need to help myself with this very interesting gadget, the great DeepL translator. I think he does a great job, and I might need it later on. And I want to present, why did the Austrian Freedom Party score so badly in the national elections 1 month ago? I did the stream in German. Well, it was my first stream ever, and I was not really impressed, but it was a trial one. I don't know, now I'll try the same in English. Maybe it should be even worse because of the lack of the knowledge of the language, but why not trying, you know? Well, okay, let's start. I hope some of my English friends will come by and say hello, and there, in order to, I think I don't really need to extract the stream. I think the comments, I think there won't be that many comments. So yeah, I think I shall begin. What's the time in America now? Well, it's about finishing work time, I would say. So there should be some people who can drop by. Well, let's start. Well, I've collected some reason for the poor performance of the Austrian Freedom Party in the national election. Why am I talking about the Freedom Party, FPÖ, Freiheitliche Partei Österreichs? Well, it's the most interesting party in these elections because they lost 10%. That's the only reason. I'm no fan of any party in Austria. I actually do like the Swiss version of the direct democracy. I think that's more efficient, and well, but you know, I'm Austrian citizen, not a Swiss citizen, so I have to work with what I have got. I can't change it. Well, still no viewer, but you know, I have some hope that some English-speaking crowd will just stop by and say hello. The stream quality, I always check this because I have a very poor internet connection. It's amber. It's fine. Okay, well, you see here, I just do a map of Austria and the results. That's just that you know what I'm talking about. It's this turquoise, it's the Conservative Party. The red, of course, is the Socialists. The blue is the, of course, that's the, just give me a second, yeah, the blue is the Freedom Party. Neos, that's a sort of a split off of the Conservatives. They are economically neoliberal, but they're also very, very thing on the social, under most, they didn't triple themselves, but they really gained a lot. They were the big winners, plus 10%. So actually they gained as much as the Freedom Party lost. Yeah, just that you know. And I think if I would have voted, I would have voted for the KPÖ, for the communists. No, not really. Okay. So, yeah. Well, first reason, the big, I'm just presenting you the mistakes I've observed of the Freedom Party, because they were in the government with the Conservatives for the first time in a while, you know, because the Freedom Party is the bad boys in Austria. They are a little bit against the system. At least they act that way. They LARP as an anti-system party. But if they are in the end, well, they really weren't. They have supported the neoliberal cause of the Conservatives. all the time. They didn't say nay, never. That was a big mistake, and I'm sure many voters of the Freedom Party, they really didn't like that, because the voters of the Freedom Parties, they are really middle and actually a lower class, working class, and also the miserables, not the miserable, the les miserables, like the forgotten ones, the deplorables. That's the one. That's the word what I'm looking for. They are the deplorables. Yeah. So that was a big reason. They supported the neoliberal cause of the ÖVP, the Conservatives. Österreichische Volkspartei means Austrian People's Party. Yeah. And the Freedom Party, they immersed themselves, they bet on senseless symbolic politics. For example, they did a swap between a very useless smoking law in order to sign the neoliberal CETA free trade agreement with Canada. That something was a no-go before the elections for the Socialists and also for the Freedom Party. But after the Conservatives offered them some smoking law, which was rather useless, that this deal was done. So very bad to do free trade for the Freedom Party, to support it in the end. And then their Interior Minister Kickl, which actually has very good score, very high it's very popular actually. He bought some police horses. Austria never had a tradition in horses in the police, and they bought 2 horses from Hungary. Actually, I think Orban gave them as a gift. That was funny. And those horses were lame. They couldn't do that job, so they had to return them because they didn't want to make Leberkäse out of them. They wouldn't want to bring them at the butchers. Yeah, and also Kickl, he renamed the Austrian Asylum Center in Departure Center, and I think that was slightly too much. If you have a asylum center, it's no point calling it Departure Center or Ausreisezentrum. It's people won't be impressed because they don't speak German anyway. Yeah, so that was the second reason the party didn't do well. Yeah, what did they not do? Not to have made it clear. The Freedom Party didn't make it clear that they are the Workers' Party, and also the Socialists are the Workers' Party, because our Social Democrats, they have forgotten that they are the Workers' Parties. The other parties, like I showed you, the Conservatives and the Greens, and they are totally bourgeois. They are globalists. They are inherently for the opening of borders and mass immigration. That's just how they are. It's not even a judgment. They are like that. And the Social Democrats, they always had the pensioners as a electorate class, and in the end, they were very keen to attract migrants, and they were very successful. And the former Viennese mayor, Michael Häupl, said the migrants are the new proletariat for us. Not thinking that the proletariat is the working class, and that's what makes you a proletariat. Not that you have migrated, actually. Yeah, but apparently a journalist found out, Wolfgang Fellner said, owner of Österreich Zeitung, a lot of migrants, they migrated towards the Green Party in these elections. So also the Social Democrats, they also lost they lost almost 6%, which is very unusual because they were in power almost all the time for the last 80 years. So this is the government party, the Chancellor Party. So, do I have a second listener? No, still not. Well, no problem. No problem. And now the stream is in red, so I hope it's still working. Yeah, what's another reason why the party did so badly? They didn't rely on positive communication. They did not say actually what they are for. They didn't say we are actually for love and inclusion. We love all peoples, just our own we love a little bit more. And they could say that's normal for all over the world that you like your own people. You don't have to be against anything. They had some negative communication against some immigrant groups like the Muslims. That's never very smart if you these days, you know. They could just have said we are just for group friendliness, for our own group. And like modern political techniques, they didn't apply, like astroturfing or framing or a purposeful influencing of the overtone window. They didn't use it. Not to mention negative campaigning, you know. They actually, the Social Democrats, they actually hired a guy from Israel, a guy called Tal Silberstein, to help them. And he did some very smart negative campaigning, and I don't even want to judge that. But the Freedom Party, they are really rather useless when it comes to campaign, yeah. Which brings us to the next point. A large amount of the taxpayers' money, you know, from the Austrian party promotion was not invested in a clear visual campaign, for example. And I show you now what the staatliche Parteienfinanzierung, that's the money they get from the taxpayer. You can see Österreich, they get twice as much as Germany. So they are bathing in money, those parties. It's incredibly how much the taxpayers, they take away from the taxpayer. That's crazy. Like, you check Switzerland, you know. It's very efficient in Switzerland, even in Ireland. But Austria is just crazy. Yeah. So that's the Freedom Party posters. They do not touch anyone. One has the feeling that they are putting it together themselves. They are very bad visual campaigns, I personally think, and I think, yeah, it's so clear. Yeah. And for a party that calls itself the Soziale Heimatpartei, the Social Homeland Party, absolute modesty in the dealing with taxpayers' money is required, as they have twice as much money as in Germany per person. So, and they didn't do that, you know. We had a little scandal that the former party chief Strache and his wife, they did use a little bit of too much expenses, like 10,000 per month, and had an extra flat in the inner city of Vienna, paid by the party, and he was wearing very expensive wristwatches and so on. And the media, they look much more closely at the FPÖ, at the Freedom Party, than at all other parties. Their core voter, the workers without a migration background, does not forgive any Gucci bags or Louis Vuitton anything if they are worn by the party leader's wife. Yeah, in politics, one earns a multiple of the Austrian average wage. Those Abgeordnete, you know, when I'm lost, I just take this. The deputies, you know, the parliament deputies, the parliamentarians in Austria, they earn about 3 times as much as an ordinary worker, at least 3 times as much. And I think that's by the way one of the reasons why representative democracy is so inefficient. I think it actually successfully prevents the will of the people from being implemented, because it leads to chair gluing. I don't know if That makes sense in English. Sesselkleberei, to sayers. Because no politician wants to do without this unproductive income. Yeah, as a social party, and they definitely are, or they present themselves as the party of the little ones, die Partei der kleinen Leute. Such as a social party, such as the FPÖ, would have to commit itself by statutes that its people, its functionaries, donate half of their salary to Austrians in needs. And the motto could be do good and talk about it. So just a little break, checking. No, my American friends are not here right now. Maybe they haven't subscribed me, so they don't know that I'm streaming. No problem at all. Yeah. So, yeah, which brings us to the next point, why the Austrian Freedom Party did so badly. They would have to communicate that they are not against mass immigration for reasons of ethnic homogeneity, because if they say that, and sometimes they do, they get torn apart by the media, and we know this. This happens everywhere in the West. And ethnic homogeneity, I don't think they say it very often, but they sometimes, tend to... It's anachronistic in Austria anyway, because as Austria is, they had immigrants for hundreds of years, so it's a rather mixed country. Of course, it has a sort of a German stock. The majority is sort of kind of Germanic, but there's so many influences, Italian and from Yugoslavia, and especially from Czech Republic and Slovakia and Poland and so on. So they should have a different wording, They should say one is against mass immigration because it deprives the Austrian and the migrant proletariat of its good income, its security, its good schools, its space for recreation, and because it destroys the environment when the whole of Austria is concreted over for cheap housing. And in the long run, tourist usability of Austria will also be undermined, because Austria, I think, one of the biggest industry is tourism, because we have a lot of gifts from our former monarchy, which are great buildings, castles, and beautiful bourgeois houses and churches and everything, and monasteries. So we are sawing on the branch we are sitting on. People are not coming here to see cheap housing for migrants. They're not coming here because it's so diverse and colorful. That's not why the Chinese tourists are coming in millions. I think they are coming in millions. Yeah. So just checking how many minutes I'm on. I don't even know where it says the duration of the stream. No idea. Maybe. No idea. Well, stream Zustand, no, doesn't say anything how long I'm on, but I'm still up and running. Yeah. I need to learn the duration of the stream. Yeah, I'll continue. Next point, message control. One defense line for the Freedom Party would be, one has to say it is really attacked, always attacked from all sides, the Freedom Party. That's a fact. They could say, we can't be radical right-wing at all, they could say. Our sole focus is on representing peasants and workers. And at least one has to, I checked that in the papers, the statistics in the 2017 elections, the national elections, said 65% of the workers voted for the Freedom Party. So they are the party of the worker. So the party could actually say, we are genuinely left-wing. We are the left party here in this country. If you attack us and call us names, you attack the left party. You can do that, but we are the left-wing party. And they could say, what you media do is simply gaslighting. And if, you know, if then the party would get the wrath of the few alt-Nazis, you know, and there will certainly be some 7 or so still around in the country. It's not a big deal, fortunately. Not at all. Not at all. The FPÖ should be pleased about this in public. You know, that you see, even the old Nazis attack us. I'm sure we are on the right track, they could say. Migrant party would be useful. Not because it's so great, but for tactical reasons. This migrant party would be massively pull, I repeat myself, this migrant party would massively pull voters from socialists and the Greens. And all especially the migrants from the Middle East and Asia, they're all with the socialists and the Greens. And you get the Austrian passport and the right to vote after 6 years in Austria. So they've shortened that. It used to be 10 years, but for the current Chancellor Kurz, or the former Chancellor Kurz, the Conservative and the Socialists, they shortened this waiting time to 6 years. Yeah, and if we would have a migrant party, it would bring clarity. We would know what are the crowds in this country, you know. And it would force the socialists to approach their old core constituency, the workers. And would be the socialists then would be a potential coalition partner for the FPÖ. You know, you have two workers' party. I mean, why not should they form a coalition? Because a coalition between the conservatives, as we know, do not conserve anything, and the Freedom Party is like fire and water. It will never work. Even if the chemistry of the actors involved is always right at the beginning, you know, they tried it 2 times and it works. It started very nicely and then it ended catastrophically. It always fails because, you know, the proletariat on the one side and the bourgeoisie on the other side inherently have different interests. So I'm checking again. Oh, now we have bad internet connections. Oh, now I found the timing. 23 minutes. Well, I think I can make it in 30 minutes. Yeah, no problem. Which brings us to the next, you know, Strache, you know, the guy from the Ibiza videos. He was about to leave, to quit, and with other personnel it should carry on, but the Conservatives, ja, they fielen den FPÖlern in den Rücken, in den Rücken fallen. Yeah, they fell in the back of the Freedom Party. Yeah. So, you know, Kurz quit the coalition and the FPÖ always wanted to continue. But then it was, you know, it was split and it was new elections were about to come in autumn. And the FPÖ had nothing better to do than to demand a new edition of this coalition. They always said we want a renewal of this coalition, but they've just been sent out like a dog, you know. They should have said, with someone who has betrayed us as massively as Chancellor Kurz, we will never again form a coalition, never again. You know, you must be firm. If you are treated badly, you know, you should not say, please hit me again. You're not a Christian who shows the other cheek. Yeah, the putting oneself forward of the FPÖ, you know, of the Freedom Party to the Conservatives was certainly unbearable for many Freedom Party voters. Therefore, many of them did not even vote in 2019. Really, hundreds of thousands stayed at home. They didn't go to the ballot box. They couldn't bear the spineless party anymore, which is, that's understandable. Another spineless act of the Freedom Party was when they distanced themselves from the identitarian movement. The identitarian movement, they received a donation from someone who 1 year later became a felon. But 1 year later, not when they got the donation. So, it was clear that they could not do anything about it. Yet almost the entire FPÖ leadership, with the exception of the Minister of the Interior, Kickl, disavowed in the strongest possible way. Without any need, actually, It was, of course, it was a big media campaign against this identitarian movement, and even our Verfassungsschutz, I think they usually they leak some material to the media. I think that's what I've heard. I'm not sure. Not an expert on that, but I think that's what I've heard. And the FPÖ, they had some pressure, and they bent. They fell like straw. Yeah. It should have been obvious. When the media is finished with the identitarian movement, it will be the Freedom Party who they will attack. It always was like that. They always need some prey, It should have been clear to the Freedom Party leadership that you just buy time and hope that the crocodile will eat you last. Not a too smart strategy, actually. Whereby the socio-politically, the identitarians are rather to the left of the Freedom Party. They are more modern, they are smarter, they are wittier. Such meta-political party affiliate organizations like the identitarian movement, such NGOs, you have them countless on the left side and the globalist realm. You have hundreds of them, even the violent Antifa. But nobody dissociates themselves from them. Nobody disavows. I've never heard the Green Party disavows if their party affiliated organizations are really. We had that years ago when they had a demonstration and they actually ruined half of the inner city of Vienna. Then they attacked police cars and even a police office. So, and nobody really disavowed them, It's not the party itself, it's just some NGOs, and even if they are kind of affiliate, it's not you. So how come you should disavow? FPÖ did disavow massively, and that's bad karma, and that didn't work out well for them. Yeah, okay. That's actually no viewer this time. It was different on my German stream. I thought it will be the other way around, but maybe I have to earn an English-speaking viewership. I think I will keep it short. 30 minutes. Yeah, that's great. 30 minutes is great. So, bye-bye for now.